All right, Piper and I are just getting back from the gym and we're getting ready to watch this Raw tonight, the go home show for WrestleMania 39. I did get the network for a couple months here, but it's very frustrating in Canada. It's done through Sportsnet and it's highly complicated. I still haven't figured out how to cast it to the TV, so you can only watch on the internet and phone. And when you actually try and connect your phone directly to the TV, it doesn't work, unlike every single other app. So it's highly frustrating. Let me just say that first. Hopefully, I can get this figured out by the weekend because since I did buy it, I have enjoyed the Stone Cold shows. I watched the Raw from Ottawa back on February 20th. It was brutal, but I'm going to give it a second chance here since I paid for it and do a watch along tonight. The second episode of Raw, and it's starting right now, that I've seen in many, many years. Now that my frustration has started to calm from trying to get this thing to cast to my TV, us poor Canadians always get ripped off as far as it comes to wrestling. I think the network in Canada is more expensive than Peacock too, but WWE Together, we're starting as we see the WrestleMania Goes Hollywood sign. Looks like they got a good crowd. The third row isn't tarped off. In Phoenix, I was actually used in Phoenix by WWE once at a pay-per-view in 2006. They used me 3 days in a row in Phoenix, Vegas, and Bakersfield, but I only actually wrestled in Vegas. The other 2 days was just sitting around eating catering. But I did meet Billy Graham for the first time that night in Phoenix, and he was so nice. The Miz. The Miz, who said last year the Blood Hunter should be barred from wrestling, but the Blood Hunter is wrestling May the 6th in Ottawa, Canada for Great North Wrestling. Tickets on sale now at ticketweb.ca. Cody Rhodes against Solo Sikoa tonight, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong. This is the first time I've ever seen Solo. I know he's part of the Bloodline. The weigh-in between Lesnar and Omos. I don't know anyone that actually was to see this match. The WrestleMania card this year, other than Roman Reigns and Rhodes, is underwhelming. Gunther in action. I've never actually seen much of Gunther other than his match against PCO a few years ago. Rey Mysterio against Damian Priest. I've never seen Damian Priest wrestle before. I'll learn some stuff tonight. What are you guys excited to watch for those of you watching along? Jake Walker. I don't know for sure if the Blood Hunter lives. I guess we'll find out if he returns from parts unknown. It looks like Kevin Sullivan's dragging him out for that show. No, WrestleMania does not need to be 2 days. It's really watered down. You know what I hate about wrestling at WWE? Ever since the Attitude Era, the shows always start with a promo. It's so predictable. We got to sit through a promo for the first part of the show. Looks like they got the WWE symbol upside down on the microphone there. Anyways, I'm doing this, by the way, not on any weed. Maybe by the weekend, I'm gonna have to start eating weed gummies while watching this. But I'm doing it tonight, straight edged. Just came off a 72-hour fast last weekend. My weight was still 269 tonight. Trish Stratus, she actually looks really good there. I'm impressed. Is Lita coming out now? Lita was never. She looked good in with Essa Rios, and the angle with Edge when she was managing Edge was good. Matt Hardy, I've actually met both Edge and Matt Hardy, and they're both really nice guys. I could understand why she wanted to date them. And there's Becky Lynch, who apparently wasn't at the WWE house show in Denver last night, and neither was um, her husband, Seth Rollins. But WWE in Denver at the house show, they had 9,000 fans last night, which, considering the last time Raw went there, they only had 5,500. That's pretty good. By the way, Kevin Sullivan did a great podcast on here with Jack Kilby last night. One of his best interviews on this channel. Really good quality, too. Of course, his Taskmaster Talks podcast is a great podcast. So we're starting off with Miz TV here. Trish wins the competition for best ass out of those three, to speak bluntly. Of course, Rene Dupree used to have sex with the Miz's wife. For anyone that didn't know that, he's got Renee's leftovers. Trish is a Canada's Got Talent judge. I've never seen the show though. Ivan Santos checking in from Puerto Rico, where I lived off and on for 2005 to 2008. I really hate Becky Lynch's accent, I have to say. I like Irish people, but I hate her accent. I just interviewed the Dublin Destroyer, but he's not. He's Irish descent, but he doesn't have the Irish accent, so that's a bad example. Finlay never really had an Irish accent too much either, did he? Finlay was best as Belfast Bruiser in WCW. Could you imagine the Blood Hunter going back to Puerto Rico? That would be interesting. If promoted properly, I believe that could actually draw. One thing I don't understand here is they're not freestyling this. They're saying lines that they were told to say, just like actors would, but they're not allowed to join the actors union. I guess all the microphones are supposed to have the W upside down. Maybe this is just normal. I find that strange. Wouldn't the logo normally face up? I don't know. Oh, I don't doubt Becky Lynch is over with the current crowd. I don't doubt it at all. But she's not my. I don't even know who I would say my favorite woman wrestler is these days, to be honest. But out of these three, I'd rather watch Trish wrestle. By far, not even close. Oh, it's part of the Mids gimmick for the WWE Upside Down. Okay. Oh, I know you can't see me. I'm not going to sit through a 3-hour stream and just stare into the camera. I'm sorry. Maybe, maybe if I did this with someone else, I would. But since I'm just doing it with Piper beside me, who's, by the way, sound asleep. Grandma Daisy, a Mike McGurk interview could happen. for sure. Now, who are these three? I have no idea who the one on the far left is. Actually, I have no idea who any of these three are. Although I recognize the one in the middle and the one on the right. Feel free to let us know who those are, Ivan, if you're still there. Tom, I would interview Trish one day for sure. Yeah, Grandma Tomato Piper had tomato. I just ate a salad and I gave her all the tomatoes from the salad. Bailey, okay. This is Bailey. I like her jacket. I don't like her pants. Trish still wins the prize as best looking, even though her face is a little plasticky and her upper body's a bit plasticky. She's got the best abs, legs, hips, and butt. Since, to be perfectly honest, I don't really care what they're saying. So again, 11 minutes. I just wish they would start with something other than an interview sometimes, because to me, this is boring. Steve Anderson is glad to know. Yeah, well, obviously some people find it charming, but I really don't. And I like accents on women. Nice French accent or a nice Puerto Rican accent or Spanish accent. It's good. Steven thinks Trish is perfect. I think she's taken. Donnybrook is about to start. Let's hope. I've heard enough talking. It's been 12 minutes and it's talking. Hey, she sounds kind of like Roddy Piper with the deep breaths in between. Did you guys ever notice that? By the way, if you ever want to see a interview where Piper really looks like he's on some sort of substance, search up Roddy Piper interrupts Danny DeVito. I would suspect that he was on something that night in the wild 80s. Yeah, she really takes like crazy breaths in between her talking. Here's a funny thing on most independents, you'll get in huge shit if you throw the mic because independents are so poor. But in WWE, a lot of these wrestlers have no idea. I know she was scripted to do that, but I've gotten shit so many times for throwing mics in independents. Advertising now. WrestleMania goes Hollywood. So far, John Cena is the only true Hollywood star part of it. It really doesn't. I mean, they're making the money. Well, I guess you could say Logan Paul could be considered a Hollywood star. He's one of the most famous people in the world right now. But they're putting Paul against a match against someone no one really cares about outside of wrestling, and Cena in a match nobody cares about outside of wrestling. They should have put those two together, made it all one night. Will Cody win the belt? We don't know. Jake has seen that Piper promo I'm talking about. Yeah, if you look at his eyes and you look at his mannerisms, he's clearly just done a whole bunch of stuff before going out there. And I've heard some. Well, Johnny Fairplay, I've interviewed, who was Piper's assistant for a year. He was still on that track, according to a lot of people he was hanging out with right before his death. Grandma Daisy, I have interviewed Robert Fuller, and it was a great interview. Would I interview Demolition again? I've done 3 interviews with Barry Darso. I've covered his career pretty well. Done 2 career interviews with just Barry, one with Barry and Bill, and then one with just Bill. So would I interview them again? I consider myself friends with both those guys. That piece of shit from Boston Wrestling is dead, which I don't even know his name, but I don't care about bashing dead people that insult me. He tried to insult me once to Barry, and Barry stuck up for me. So I consider that a friend. People that are below you in popularity always want to bash the higher. And I could be saying the same thing about WWE, but I actually did a AEW review of their Winnipeg show, and I did enjoy it. I'll be honest, I did enjoy their show from Winnipeg. And the MJF segment at the start, although it did drag out, it went on almost 20 minutes. The first part of it was better than what I just saw on Raw. Tom, why does Cody get such a push? Because his father was the American dream, and he honestly is their best option right now for a baby face that can draw, but I don't think he'll be the next Hulk Hogan. But he is their best option as a top baby face right now. There's nobody else. Tom enjoyed the Kevin Sullivan Great North Wrestling podcast yesterday. Grandma Daisy Headbangers interview? Sure, why not? WWE Wrestlers on Wheel of Fortune. I know they've been on. I've always hated that show. I never liked it. I don't like game shows. But I do know one of the saddest things about my interview with Lex Luger is he now lives with his mother. And he was like telling me like the highlight of his night is watching Wheel of Fortune with his mother. And I was just like, oh my God. Good for you. Good for you to be so positive, but oh my God. Steven, no sell those haters. Well, the guy's dead, so doesn't matter. And this is going to be a long 3 hours. So it's not like I'm doing a custom video on him. Oh, it's a match. Here we go. Io Sky. Okay, I thought it was Asuka. Becky Lynch against Io Sky. Wow, I didn't realize Becky Lynch was so short. She's barely taller than the ropes. I saw Becky Lynch wrestle Charlotte Flair before, and it wasn't a bad match. Becky's physique looks decent in that outfit though. Nice leg slap there. My God, do I hate leg slaps. You rarely saw that in the 80s until Shawn Michaels popularized it. I will commend Becky on her outfit. She has the second best outfit next to Trish. That kick to the head was good. Where are they tonight? Did anyone pick it up? What town they're in? Jake's giving up. Don't see me, man. Lita has bad knees. She also had a bad neck at one point. Grandma wanted to go to WrestleCon. Ah. Oh yeah, Phoenix. My God, I already forgot. Thanks, guys. Home of Tank Abbott, the Honky Tonk Man, and superstar Billy Graham. And my God, I spent a month in Phoenix last year, and it was one of the greatest months of my life. Mark Kerr also lives in Phoenix. There's great mountains to climb in Phoenix, and I never really saw the fun in it until Dan Severin climbed the mountain with me. And there's tons of hot girls in like booty shorts and tank tops climbing those mountains. So you get a great workout and you get beautiful scenery. And I wasn't single then, but it would be a great place to pick up all these great mountains in Phoenix. People are so laid back there, and the food is good. Another leg slap. God, I hate those. Other than the leg slapping, this has not been a bad match. Obviously, the production's great. They do have a hockey team named the Coyotes. It's true. Will Becky retire tonight? No, I doubt it. The cactuses are cool. I think they're called cacti. Driving between Phoenix and Vegas, I've done a few times. Actually, I've done like 4 or 5 times. It's really beautiful too. Yeah, I do want to go back to Arizona big time next year. This year is a rebuilding year. Those double stomps hurt. I can tell you that. Going to commercial. Everyone in Phoenix drinks tequila. I don't know about that. The gyms are really, really full of like beautiful. For some reason, like there's the percentage of beautiful women in Arizona is extremely high. I shouldn't even be talking about this because it makes me want to go back. Scott is from Punske, PA. Well, I can tell you I haven't really been to many places in Pennsylvania other than Philadelphia, which I do admit they do have some cute girls in Philadelphia, but it's not the same percentage as Arizona. Arizona has a really high percentage. Am I benching 500 pounds again? I'm benching 405, working my way back up. I did tear my pec year and a half ago. Never had surgery, just had stem cells. New wrestlers cringe. I don't know. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, honestly. I hear Wardlow might be going to WWE, but he looks so juiced up right now in AEW. I wonder when they first sign people if they still have the same pre-contract testing as they used to. Nice. Yes, thank you. All right, I think they're coming back from commercial. Do I train wrestlers? I have trained wrestlers. And to be honest, it's you take so many bumps training wrestlers. You beat up your body way worse than a normal match. And it's just not worth the money. It's really not, or the time you invest in these people. A lot of them give up. I trained two in Puerto Rico, and I never followed how their career went because I moved away. I did it for extra money. Then I trained probably 4 or 5 people around here. over the years. One of them is still doing it, but he wasn't the most popular of them. The other ones made me the most money wrestling in the towns that I promoted for, but they never wanted to do it full time. They just wanted to do it to get popular in their towns. And guess what? It worked. What are the Actually, I have to say I'm pretty good at making people popular in their towns over the years. I've taken some people and they're now like they could run for mayor in their towns because of what I did for them in wrestling. Tyrus has been in some movies, Colonel Quail. Do bookers make more money? I don't know how much the WWE writers get paid. I think Triple H is head of WWE. He makes in the millions. Plus, he gets bonuses. And Tony Khan is the booker of his own company. Scott D'Amore in Impact, he's the president of the company and head booker. I'd be surprised if they paid a large amount. MLW, Court Bowers, the booker, he runs the company. But as far as the writers, I don't think they make a lot. I used to be roommates with Tyrus in Deep South Wrestling. He used to like to eat Doritos dipped in peanut butter. But we weren't in the same wrestling class. How do I think the WWE Puerto Rico will do? Oh, I will disagree with Dutch. It's going to sell. If it's not sold out already, I'll look that up right now as this match continues. You see, at least with the women, when they're, you know what, I'm not even going to say it, but when they're wearing outfits like that, it makes watching the matches easy. But yeah, they're doing, SmackDown and pay-per-view from Puerto Rico Backlash. I don't believe Dutch on that. Let's look it up, see if he's right or not. I wonder if Logan Paul will be on those shows since he lives in Puerto Rico. Friday, May 5th. Oh, they're even doing a 2-day pass. They're doing a special for a 2-day pass. That's a good idea. Well, right now it says the inventory is limited. And it looks like they're almost the whole arena is going to be opened up. The best seats you can get right now are $485. Or sorry, that's for 2 tickets. Anyways, there's only limited tickets available, so Dutch is wrong on that. Freddie Prinze Jr. was a writer. He's not a writer anymore. In Puerto Rico, people will come to that. There's enough. It might be poor overall, but there's enough rich people in Puerto Rico that they'll pack that place. They love wrestling now. The quality of wrestling has just gone down so much. Becky Lynch wins. Celebrating with Trish Stratus, who I would give definitely wins the prize for best looking, even at 55, I believe. Good for her. Primo and Eptigo. I've wrestled them so many times. I had a bunch of Eptico's first matches. Fireblaze, he was known then. And Primo I feuded with. They were good opponents. But Fireblaze and I had really good matches. Actually, I think my last televised match in Puerto Rico was against Fireblaze, and it was a draw. Now they're showing Cody with his big wart on his eye. And Roman Reigns. Not only do we see in-ring promos, but we see highlights of in-ring promos from the previous weeks. Okay, this is to set up the match here of this other guy against Cody next week, this week. Cody's beat everyone really easily since he's been back, so I have no doubt he's going to beat this guy. Or it'll be some sort of schmaz finish. Where is he walking to? Is he going to the ring? Please don't tell me there's another promo. Guess we'll find out after the ad. Tom is Reigns. Reigns is his top guy. He's the best of their. Well, I guess he's not full time anymore. Cody Rhodes and Lashley, I would say, are the best of their full time roster, and Roman Reigns and Lesnar are the best of their part time roster. But Lesnar is a bigger draw than Reigns, but he wrestles less than Reigns does. Reigns is the biggest draw they have that wrestles regularly. Because even though they say he's more of a part-time, he does a lot of house shows still. Dana White is going to bring a UFC event to Puerto Rico in 2014, but never did. Well, who knows? I think UFC, one of the early UFCs were there where Gary Goodridge had a good KO with those elbows that they used for years. Don Fry was on that one too, who lives in Arizona too, in Tucson. I was at his house with, God, I can't even remember his name now, the guy from the Adam Sandler movies. That was a really, really fun day. I drove to Tucson with Dan Severn. We actually saw a jackalope on the way home. But we left at like 6 a.m. We spent the whole day there. And yeah, we didn't get home till late. I'll show you guys a picture of that. How cool. Oh yeah, Rob Schneider. How cool is it to hang out with Dan Severn, Don Fry, and Rob Schneider for a day at Dan Severn's at Don Fry's home? That was fun. All of those guys were great guys too, by the way. UFC 9 was over there. Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Lashley is going to be the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. What is that? Is it official now that Bray Wyatt is not? I haven't even looked at the news today. I've been training really hard. I didn't look at the news since I got back from the gym. Let me look at the news. Is the Bray Wyatt match officially canceled now? I see Vicky Guerrero says she wishes she was part of the Rey Mysterio Dominic angle. As Piper just farted. That's funny. Cody Rhodes says his WWE return was a far bigger gamble than All In. Well, he's making a shitload of money in WWE, so I don't see how it's a bigger gamble. And he wouldn't have jumped ship if he didn't have certain assurances. But his popularity was fading in AEW. The one AEW Dynamite that I saw, the first year it came out was when Cody threw his belt out into the crowd and they threw it back. What's the news with Ronda Rousey? She got a broken arm. She's still going to wrestle because she's tough, but she doesn't like the creative. I don't see anything. The only thing I saw about Bray Wyatt, I didn't hear that the match was canceled. But he's been walking around his town in Florida where he lives and taking pictures with fans. It's not like he's deathly ill or anything. Let's see what Bray Wyatt makes for how little he appeared. He makes $4 million a year, according to the Sports Grail. The 18 highest paid superstars. Logan Paul makes 8.5. Brock Lesnar makes 12. Roman Reigns makes 5 million. Oh, sorry, John Cena makes 8.5 million. Logan Paul makes 5. Randy Orton makes 4.5. Bray Wyatt 4. AJ Styles 3. Kevin Owens 3. Seth Rollins 3. Goldberg 3, but he's under contract. Undertaker's paid 2.5 million to stay with them, even though he's retired. Gets to be an ambassador. The Miz 2.5 million. Dolph Ziggler 1.5 million. Ronda Rousey 1.2 million. Sheamus 1 million. Becky Lynch 1 million. Jinder Mahal 900,000. I don't think that's going to last much longer if he's still getting that because he's not doing so well these days. I don't think that's still accurate. Yo, Mike, big dollar down the left-hand man. Oh, here's a promo for Asuka. Ooh, there's no doubt she's talented, but I don't have much interest in watching her. But she's got talent. The belts these days are so gaudy. I wonder if Asuka does her own makeup. Bianca Belair does an interview with Chris Rock. Or not Chris Rock. Whoever does the ice bath interviews. God, I don't even remember his name. But that I saw a promo for that. He's been in interviews with The Rock. He's been in movies with The Rock. Maybe I've been working out too hard. My memory is fading. Could I be a good baby face? I am actually a good baby face. I did a video about how good a baby face I am. But see, they would never give me a push. And to be honest, I don't want to go back to a major. I'd rather have freedom. Unless, of course, the money was too much to refuse. Then I'd do whatever. But I'd rather just work with Great North Wrestling and have freedom. Here's Logan Paul. Yes, he is going to beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. I agree with him. I do like Logan Paul, guys. I have to admit. I watch his podcast. I hate this gimmick of Seth Rollins. Remember when the handicapped person beat up Seth Rollins? That was funny. That was the most funny thing that I ever saw Seth Rollins do. Most entertaining thing. So we got Mustafa Ali now. Mustafa Ali reminds me of Jeremy Prophet. Looks very similar to Jeremy Prophet. But Prophet is more talented and more deserving of a job like that. Nice man. 8:41 p.m. We got some time. We got some time to put in. Oh well. Tom, I need more practice as a commentator. I only do commentary on videos on here when people send me stuff to post without commentary because it's better than having no commentary. All right. Well, that was boring. Peter, I know you're watching. I don't have much to say. What can I say about that other than I don't understand why why people cheer that gimmick of Seth Rollins? Because to me, as far as who's cooler between Seth Rollins and Logan Paul, it's definitely Logan Paul. By the way, Jack Victory is going to be doing an interview with me next month. He's had quite a career. I just got confirmation on that as we speak. It will take place on May 21st in the early evening. Jack Victory. You're hearing this as I'm hearing it. By the way, if Sid still can't figure out how to work his StreamYard, I'm going to use the money I was saving for that interview on somebody else because I'm waiting. Yes, Kevin Sullivan wants to see the Blood Hunter against Brian Pillman Jr. I have to agree on that. I think that would be a good match. I'll be perfectly honest with you. That could be a very interesting match. I would like to see that match too. I have to agree on that, especially with Sullivan managing the Blood Hunter. Well, we know that there is going to be 3 Great North Wrestling events, not just this first one in May 6th. There's going to be one most likely July 15th in this beautiful arena. There's going to be another one in September in a town that I'm not going to disclose at this point. More information on that. Subscribe to this channel, which anyone commentating right now is a subscriber. Have all the best gimmicks been used? No. People can always come up with better gimmicks. They always can. What match are you guys most? Yes, James Storm is on that roster. Yes, there's going to be, especially the second event. I know that they're talking to a lot of people about the second event too. It's the roster is going to be good, and of course, all the matches are going to air on the Hannibal TV. And the most expensive Great North Wrestling ticket is $35. And that includes the meet and greet, unlike these crazy ticket prices. Like, I mean, I don't blame AEW in Toronto. They were selling tickets for almost $4,000 for Forbidden Door, but that's not exactly family friendly pricing. I mean, there's a lot of rich people in Toronto, but come on. Who has 4,005 or like 3,600 or however much the ringside tickets were to bring a whole family? Here's Seth Rollins. My God, this gimmick makes me cringe. I'm sorry. Please, let's get the handicap guy back to beat him up. Please, I would pop so much. I don't get this. I really don't get this. But he's making 3.5 million a year. He knows a lot better than me. I'm not saying his punches, a lot of them look really weak. But as far as a guy that can wrestle and when he has his big matches, he loses more often than he wins in recent years. So as far as a guy that goes in there and can put on decent matches, but yeah, I don't get this gimmick. This is his worst gimmick in my opinion. And yes, I will predict he wins this. Does anyone think Mustafa Ali is going to win this match? What is the sound that these guys are singing? Like, can someone explain to me what the whole gimmick is here with the singing? This is new to me. Anyways, this is the popcorn match for me. If Piper wasn't sleeping on my lap, I'd go take a piss right now. Bring back the Shield. Mustafa used to be a Chicago cop. Oh, really? He looks young. In Canada here, you need to go to you need to get a degree to be a cop in most cases. Do they let people wrestle with chains around their neck now? Remember in the old days, they'd actually make Razor Ramon take his chains off. Could you imagine, like in UFC, if someone like that takes away suspension of disbelief for me? Who gets in a real fight with a chain around their neck? Honestly, even in a high school fight, you're going to take the chain off of your neck before you fight, unless you're sneak attack. Well, yeah. Can you imagine an amateur wrestling match? What? I can't. I'm just gonna amateur wrestle with my chain around my neck. I don't know. Dick Murdoch was entertaining for sure. Nikita Koloff wore chains when he wrestled. He took the chains off. This Mustafa Ali is wrestling with a chain on his neck. To me, that just I don't know. I like to at least have some believability, and someone allowed to do a professional sport while wearing a chain is just weird. I can't see Logan Paul losing to this guy because he lost to Roman Reigns and he didn't win the Royal Rumble, and Logan Paul losing again wouldn't make any sense. There we go. Nice ass grab there by Seth Rollins. Give an ass a squeeze as you pin. I remember my amateur coach teaching me that. But good for him. Between his money and Becky Lynch's money, they must be doing pretty well for themselves. Let's see if we'll see Logan Paul. We just saw him backstage, so I guess we'll see him again. One thing I remember from the WWE pay per view that I was at, where they used me as an extra, Undertaker was complaining about having to feud with Great Khali. This was just before the Punjabi prison match. That match did not take place on that show, though I don't recall. And Albert, who is now the head trainer there, was back trying to get a job, which I'm pretty sure did get a job. So now, yeah, Albert was also from Phoenix, and Bill Anderson was with superstar Billy Graham back there in Phoenix. I remember I sat close to Billy when everyone was watching the monitor in the back, and it was hilarious listening to him. He was in fine form that day, and he gave me a tip about arms. He said when you do close grip tricep press, keep your hands really close together. And by the way, Billy has a GoFundMe now. He's been seriously fighting for his life since Christmas, in and out of the hospital, losing his hearing. I don't care about anything Seth Rollins is saying right now. I'm just kind of daydreaming. There they go. This is boring as hell to me. I'm sorry. Could you imagine the Ultimate Warrior doing this? My favorites are like the Ultimate Warrior and Goldberg and Ric Flair and Hogan, Macho Man and The Undertaker. Furthest thing you can get from this dork. Oh my gosh, Piper's hot. You okay, Piper? Baron Corbin now speaking to Adams and forget his last name. Oh, Chelsea Green, the girlfriend of Zack Ryder. That Adam guy refused to do an interview with me in Iowa a couple of years ago, by the way. He was very high strung. Which, by the way, Bob Backlund even did an interview with me that day. Who is this woman with Chelsea Green? I know she's popular. I just don't know her name. The Road Warriors were the best tag team ever. I agree. Chelsea is a fine addition to this MASH show. That's funny. Oh, Bruiser Brody. Yeah, he wasn't around when I was a kid, but he's one of my favorites now. Sonya Deville. Okay. Yeah, Sonya Deville. I'm not saying anything bad about her. I just forgot who she was. I know the name and I know the face. So we got Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville in action. The weigh-in, Brock Lesnar, my favorite current WWE superstar, and Omos. Here's the thing about Omos. They've shown like things of him going back to wherever the hell he's from. I don't know if it's Nigeria or some one of the more poor countries from what I remember from the video, and like hugging his family and all this, and like being a total baby face. So it's like, how can I see you as a heel when WWE's posted so many videos of you being a total baby face with your family? I just can't get into it. Please interview Mandy Rose. Well, I would. Omis looks stiff. I've never actually. I may have seen him wrestle. I saw his thing with Brock Lesnar, the skit they did the other week after Vince Russo said that they made Brock Lesnar look like a pussy with the way Triple H did that, and they did. I did get his point. They almost like stuck his fist in Lesnar's face and pushed him around a bit. But honestly, almost just isn't over enough to make me care about that match. Lesnar against Austin, which is what they really wanted. Now there is a true WrestleMania match. Brock Lesnar against Steve Austin. Does Lesnar against Omos scream WrestleMania to any of you guys? I don't know. Let's look up Omos's pay. I'm just curious. How much does Omos pay WWE? Apparently, he doesn't make that much. Well, Triple H did say that like the minimum main roster was 250. So it's got to be around there, but that was before his push. Okay, yeah. In April 2002, Triple H told The Athletic that everyone on the main roster makes at least 250,000 a year. Keep in mind, they rarely wrestle 3 times a week. At most, they wrestle 3 times a week and they make 250 grand a year. NXT performers make between 50,000 to 200,000, and any of the top NXT talent make 100,000 a year. Now, keep in mind, tickets to NXT in Orlando are free, and they're having problems filling that place. They recently put out a memo, according to the Observer, to encourage wrestlers to tell their families to come to the shows that live in the area. So there you go. Let's see if we can find Omos on here. Charlotte Flair makes $2 million. Paul Heyman makes $2 million. Lashley makes $1 million. McIntyre makes $1 million. Kane reportedly makes 900,000 to not wrestle anywhere else. Apparently in AEW, Tony Khan pays the travel. In WWE, pays all the travel. In WWE, you got to, unless you're a top star, the top stars get their hotel and trans paid for in most cases, and they also get first class airfare in most cases. But the undercards, keep in mind, NXT people live in Orlando, and they rarely do shows outside of Orlando, so it's not like they have travel costs. The house show driving distance, and a few other shows NXT does. And most of those NXT wrestlers have never paid any dues and have been signed and are getting paid to train. But yeah, in WWE, their flights are paid for, but a lot, unless it's like an overseas tour, you usually got to pay for your own rental car and hotel. Here comes Omos. One thing we've seen in like Pride and stuff that I think has taken away some of the giant like stigma that giants were scary and unbeatable is like the bigger they are, the less mobility they have, and doesn't necessarily make them tough. In UFC, it wasn't the biggest bodybuilders or the tallest people that necessarily kicked everyone's ass. I have no doubt that Brock Lesnar could beat this guy in a shoot in a matter of seconds. I have no doubt that I could beat this guy in a shoot in a matter of seconds. Honestly, I would have a harder time beating MVP in a shoot because I know MVP is trained in grappling a bit than Omos. Omos, man, you could just double leg this guy and ground and pound him. This is what Vince Russo said made Lesnar look like a pussy because Lesnar just took it. He's not even trying to like fight back there. They're doing a weigh-in with gear on and tape on their hands. Now he is impressive looking. I'm not taking anything away from him. I just think this is a shitty WrestleMania match. More talking, my God. Paulo Cruz was Nigerian. I heard the name, but I don't recognize him. Ivan Santos. Where can you find the wrestlers page? Just search it up and look at look for the most recent, most credible article. Yokozuna couldn't fit in plane seats. Oh, there's just way too much talking in wrestling these days. I'm sorry. You're not going to see this in Great North Wrestling. I can. The good thing about me watching this is I can see what's good and what's bad, and to me, this is just freaking boring. This bores the hell out of me. I have a short attention span, yes, but this is freaking boring. I've already seen all the girls talking for like 15 minutes of the segment, and I just saw Seth Rollins talk. And now we got to see this. Get to the action. And again, who weighs in with tape on their wrist that looks like casts and with a shirt on? Like, honestly, I know it. And why are you even doing a weigh in if you're wearing casts on your wrists and a shirt and boots? What's the point? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it just takes away the believability. All right. So I'm sure we are going to see some action eventually. Cowboy hat suits him well. There's rumors. Well, I'm sure Brock Lesnar is saying this because his contract's probably going to expire. He doesn't necessarily want to work for whoever buys the WWE until he knows who buys them. But he's saying he's soon to be done with the company. I would love to see him go to AEW. You guys think he grew his hair like that because he's balding? Okay, so there we go. Maybe they listened to Russo saying that they made him look like a pussy because he's going straight to action. The kick looked good. Again, just staring him down. Why is he not trying to get more revenge? Why doesn't he grab a chair? Best part of the show so far, even though it looked like Brock lost his footing there a bit, the kick looked good. No leg slap, by the way, that I could see. I like to see no leg slap, and Brock took that without putting his hands up. Now, if there's more talking here, it's going to ruin it for me. Because if I was Brock Lesnar and someone did that to me, I would grab a chair or some sort of weapon and go back in the ring. I wouldn't just stand around like that. It's not like there's referees holding him back. This is this match could if you had that match on an indie show, I guess Charlotte is a draw. Most arenas around Canada and the US could not sell out if this was the main event. And they're making it a WrestleMania main event just because they can because it was going to sell or it's 95,000. They're going to say it's sold out no matter how many tickets are sold. It could legitimately fit 95,000, but this women's match doesn't interest me at all. Rhea Ripley against Charlotte. MSB. Who is that? Who is MSB? Saudi may reinstate death matches. I've never even met Brock Lesnar. No, I would not listen to The Miz talk like that for 3 hours. No. Here we go. Apparently, she's been signed since she was 17 or 18. Prior to and she like her last recorded pay was 250 grand a year. Obviously, she's probably getting a bonus now. I saw that Alundra Blaze wants to wrestle. That was out in the news recently. How many takes do you think that took? Those are usually pre-recorded. Looks like the left side of the arena is tarped off on the third level. All right. Are these the Street Profits? Yeah. See, this is where I wish the show was just 2 hours. I know they do it because they get the money for three, but like all I can think about at 9/11 is I can't believe I'm not even halfway through this. I'd rather watch Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves than this. But you know what? I am a wrestling reporter. I'm forcing myself to, but I do think I'm going to get some weed gummies here. Ricochet and Braun Strowman. I have interviewed Ricochet back when he was dating Tessa. I remember Tessa had a kid, and the kid was sitting with Ricochet, and Tessa was there too. This was before Tessa became a bitch. She was still friendly at this point. It was in Iowa. And I mentioned something as if it was their kid, and it was like it wasn't their kid, it was Tessa's. It was a little awkward. That part wasn't on tape though. But Tessa was nice that weekend. I ran into her a bunch of times that weekend. She was really nice, and then she developed her attitude really quick. There's some sex video out there of Ricochet like finger himself up the rear end. I read about, and just sadly, that's all I can think about when I see him these days. That's not something that would arouse me. Yeah, Lashley in the Andre Battle Royal. Wow. Okay. Oh, the Andre Battle Royal's on SmackDown. See, I am going to do this for SmackDown too, but it's only 2 hours, and the Hall of Fame is the last part. They did say Stacy Keibler is going to be in the Hall of Fame. I did meet her at the Raw in Calgary. By the way, it's funny. AEW is coming to Calgary in July, and WWE announced today they're coming to Calgary in August. I wonder if they're only doing that because AEW is coming. John Wick 4. I saw John Wick 3 and I did not like it. I liked 1 and 2. I think was Nash in 2 or 3. Tom, okay. Well, thanks. I appreciate you sticking it out with me. What's going on with Tully? He got released from AEW. Sitting at home. Mop shop. Yeah, Puff Puff. You know what? I think I would enjoy this more. I think for the weekend, I'm going to. I'm not going to make myself do this. I'm not going to smoke, but I'm going to cut a large bag or 2 or 3 or 4 of gummies. Will make this more bearable. Good day. After all the tape of Ricochet, next pay-per-view, Triple H, and a bunch of people shook his hand for some reason. Well, I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure he washed his hands after he did that to himself. Oh my god! I'm not. I don't care what people's. Honestly, I've worked in a strip club. Um, I've gone out with a lot of girls. I don't discriminate against however people want to like get themselves off, but there's just some things that I just don't understand how people could like, and that's one of them. I'm not into that. Good for him if he is, and I know that footage was leaked. It's not like he put it on there. Look up if there's any more news while it's an advertisement here. I hope this tag match is good. Let's look at the AEW Dark Elevation report since I didn't watch it. Nyla Rose with Maria Schaefer versus Brian and Sage Hale. Winner Nyla Rose. She's been pushed to death. Willow Nightingale beat Maggie Lee. The Firm beat Zach Kalen and Anaya. Matt Hardy, Ethan Page, and Isaiah Cassidy beat Spanish Announce Project Luther Serpentico and Angelico. Luther still has a job. Good for Jericho for keeping his friend employed. Luther wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for Jericho. Does Omos do a good job? Well, with what he did tonight, I didn't see anything wrong with it. All I can tell you is, as far as a WrestleMania main event, like a must-see match, like a Warrior versus Rick Rude, Hogan against Savage, Warrior against Hogan, Flair against Savage. It doesn't make me interested like those. This guy, the Demon guy, I also don't like Finn Balor. He's too small for me to take seriously. Although I did hear that Edge might have Gangrel with him at the show, which I'd love to see. There's a lot of videos of Gangrel on here. I'll tell you guys a match to look up. Look up Big Cass against Gangrel on this channel. I've never talked about this before, but I'm a bit bored, so I will. Something happened in that match that there was some real heat in that match. Big Cass Gangrel. But yeah, I don't mind Edge, but this match doesn't do it for me. This Finn Balor guy he's been pushed so much and he's not really gotten over to any impressive degree, but they keep pushing him. 13,568 in Phoenix. See what the real capacity. The real capacity of that arena is 18,422. Where's Jinder Mahal? They put him on NXT against Braun Breaker the last time I saw him. Jinder and I used to be buddies, but it seems like he's many, many years away from that push that they gave him, and I don't think it's going to happen again. Who is this? The Viking people. Remember when they bumped for what's his face? Top Dollar, and Top Dollar didn't even touch them. Good gimmick for kids, though. Wrestling is kids oriented. It's a good gimmick for kids. And Otis and this other guy. I like. I don't mind these guys. These Alpha Academy guys. I don't mind them. They're forced to do some pretty shitty segments, but they're they're good amateur wrestlers and they're good characters. It's obvious that Braun Strowman is going to win. I like Braun Strowman team is going to win this thing. But for some reason, the Viking Raiders strike me as jobbers. Maybe Jinder Mahal and Finn Balor should. That's a good day. I agree with you there. I think Jinder Mahal against Edge. If Jinder Mahal had been pushed better leading up to that, would have been a much better opponent. I agree. It seems like they gave up on Mahal, but he's making good money. Really nice guy. Knew some bad people in Calgary back when he was in Calgary. I remember he called me every day of his WWE tryout because I had been signed from the previous one, to just go over things and what his chances were based on what happened to him in those days. And he ended up getting signed like right after tryout. Remember when Braun Strowman got his ass beat in arm wrestling by Devin Larratt? Fellow Ottawa boy. I don't know why Braun did that. By the way, I'm not saying this to hate on Braun, but like one of the worst matches ever was Braun Strowman against Tyson Fury. That was so. It was like comically bad. Braun Strowman was making a huge amount before they released him. I think they released him mainly because he was overpaid. Remember? Does anyone remember when they did that? When Braun was released, he took like a picture of himself in his bathroom to show how much weight he lost, but he forgot that there was a steroid needle in the shot. He claimed that it was like for B12 shots or something. Oh my god! Yes, those delts are from B12 shots. You could have just said they were from TRT, which WWE allows now. Are there any big name movie stars slated to be at Mania? John Cena. It's very underwhelming. Advertisement. This is a boring match. Let's see if I missed anything. Ray and Dominic at WrestleMania. Yeah, Tom, that'll. I hope Ray beats him because I don't think Dominic has come close to. 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 I don't think Dom Sadly, I think that Ray will have to do the job because it's his son. He's going to want to put his son over. But Dominic's a less talented Eric Watts that's kind of being shoved down people's throats because he's the son of like a famous wrestler. It's a typical son of a wrestler getting shoved down people's throats. Simpson oil darts, and you make all the food infused. Oh, for weed infused. See, now you guys are making me want weed, which I've stayed away from, mainly because it makes you hungry. See, even talking about weed is making me cough. No, Mania is not sold out. There's sorry, somewhere around 50 and 56,000 tickets out for each night, and the places can hold up to 90,000, 95,000. But whether there's whatever the current number sold or 65,000 or 70,000 sold, they're still going to say it's a sellout. Because what they do now, what companies do now for sellouts, is they just put tarps on empty seats and say, well, the arena's sold out for the setup we had. So this is why for Phoenix tonight, they've tarped off the top third level of the right side that doesn't show on the camera, but you can see it in the wide shots, and they say it's sold out, even though the arena holds 18,422 in the stands. Of course, it could hold more on the floor. So they're saying that whatever they announced, 14 or 15,000, which is still a very good number for wrestling these days, is a sellout. Mahal is way better than Ballerina. Ha ha ha. I actually like to see him against LA Knight. I heard that LA Knight got over better from the Wyatt angle than Wyatt, who, as we see, is over like nothing these days. It's been like a fart in church since his big return. Bro, eat keto, smoke weed. Honestly, I've been researching health a lot lately, and smoking is not good for you, whether it's weed or tobacco. And I'm 40 years old now. I want to live longer. So I'd rather save my lungs. And I can tell you from smoking weed, and it's almost running season again here. I have been upping my cardio lately, but I can't wait to start running this year. And the nights that I had weed in the past by smoke, it definitely affected my cardio the next day. So if I'm out and somebody has a big joint and like offers it to me, it's legal in Canada. Why not? I'm not going to go out and buy any weed to smoke. My ex smoked weed because she had back issues, so it was her weed that I would smoke. I never actually enjoyed smoking that much. 64 not coughing or running. Well, as I said, good for you. I'm not saying people can do whatever they want. I've partied a good amount in my life. I've worked in the bar industry. I've been a wrestler. I was like one of the last generations, and I worked with a lot of the 80s guys that would still party. So I don't want to be hard on my body as much as possible. I'm not saying I'm still not going to here and there, but I'm not going to purposely get into a habit of smoking if I'm not in the habit now. That would just not make any sense. Otis is solid. He has such a funny body. I understand why they love Otis. You just want to laugh at him to look at him. He's very talented. I can tell you I like Otis. How lucky are these guys? They get to wrestle in shirts. You don't have to stay as back when I was trying out, they cared a lot more about abs than they do now, obviously, as we can see by all these guys. But like the best gimmicks, even Braun Breaker's wearing a freaking shirt. I guess Braun doesn't have his abs anymore either. Please, someone explain to me why Braun would have a shirt on other than to hide his abs. Doesn't make sense otherwise. But anyways, my point is, as a wrestler, if you have your shirt off, there's always pressure of you to keep abs. So if you have a gimmick in basketball clothes, it just takes away so much pressure. Nice slap on your shoulder, buddy. But yeah, Braun Strowman. Why is he not showing his abs? Remember when Braun Strowman said he was going to do bare knuckle? And who was the other guy that was going to do bare knuckle? The gay porn star guy. It's Lars Sullivan. I don't know. He has his abs. I guess they just had his shirt on for the shirt rip spot. First done by superstar Billy Graham. The man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour. Nice frog splash. And he took his jersey off too. Strange. Strange people with good physiques to have them covered up. But I understand Braun, the ripping the shirt off, that got a pop from the crowd. Why not? Why not? I haven't seen it, guys, so you'll have to forgive me. I don't know the full gimmicks, but it's a nice frog splash. No question, that guy's a great athlete. We know what Ricochet will be doing in his hotel room tonight. Some baby oil or Vaseline, whatever he likes. Core strength and abs. Yes. Hey, I was deadlifting. I've been doing. Kevin Sullivan has been telling me how important deadlifts are, and I actually really enjoy deadlifting these days. And I think my strength is getting to the point that next week I'm gonna take it to a level up. But a couple weeks ago, I actually broke a wrist strap deadlifting. I was lifting so much it busted the wrist strap. Why don't we see Cody Sylvester the cat? Or why don't they call Cody Sylvester the cat? I don't know. I don't know if I get that one. Have I ever interviewed Lars Anderson? No. Cody Rhodes. Cody, you're 100% not losing. You haven't lost yet, and you're going into WrestleMania. 9:35. Yes, we're over the halfway mark. And yes, to the person that said about smoking weed, if you could pass me a joint right now, I would definitely have one to make the last hour and 25 minutes go by faster. But as I said, it's not bad to at least see what's going on with the products. But Vince Russo said he doesn't want to see Cody beat Roman Reigns, and I honestly, I would say that too. I would leave Roman Reigns champion for now, to be honest, because at least with this match, we don't know who's going to win. So why the very first time in so long that Roman fights someone where we don't know that Roman's going to win 100%, why have him lose? I think it would make more sense to have him keep the belt. I wouldn't even make Cody the champion. I'd put it on Braun Breaker. Braun Break Braun Breaker actually has a good upside, but yeah, I would hold off on making him the champion. Tom, I don't think too many people get along with Cornette. Here's a vignette. They're at the Bloodlines at dinner. Anyone else notice that there's nobody at any of the back tables? I guess it's a private restaurant. Oh no, there's one couple. There's only one couple at a table directly behind them, and the whole restaurant's empty. I've been bottled a bunch of times as a bouncer. I bottled myself once in a promo for Cody Rhodes. Oh, I get it. They were reenacting. Oh, they were reenacting a fucking scene from a movie. I get it. I get it. That's funny. Sorry, I haven't been watching Raw. I now remember reading that WWE is reenacting Goodfellas. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. That makes sense. I was just lost. Tom, nobody would survive the drinking game of doing a shot every time Russo says bro. Nobody. They would die. Maybe if it's in a shoot interview clip where he can do it as little as maybe 5 or 6 times and as much as 20 or 21. But even there, I wouldn't recommend anyone taking 20 shots. I remember taking like 18 shots in a row once on a stupid dare. And my God, that was stupid. That was dumb. Are they telling a story? They're actually they were doing. I recognize it from Goodfellas now. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm falling asleep. Sorry, you guys. Let's hope the next match wakes us back up a bit. So far, the highlight to me was the Brock Lesnar almost. I'm glad it was well done as far as Brock Lesnar didn't go in there weigh in. He wanted revenge. He got action right away, but I didn't like that he just stopped after almost brought the scale out and didn't try to still get in there and wasn't held back by refs or anything. But other than that, it wasn't bad. And Trish Stratus's butt looked fine. Do another. Could you imagine Ken Patera doing a watch along? You know what? I'm just testing it out this weekend, but maybe in the future I'll actually bring wrestling stars that probably haven't seen wrestling in a long time and make them watch. It's funny when you hear Kevin Sullivan, he puts over wrestling so much. But I guarantee you guys, I guarantee you, Kevin Sullivan is not sitting through 3 hours of Raw every week. He's seeing stuff here and there on the internet. He's trying to stay positive because he hasn't been put in the WWE Hall of Fame yet. I love Kevin. I understand what he's doing, but like I guarantee you, he could not sit through a 3 hour thing of Raw. I guarantee you guys that. But God bless him for staying so positive. Ole Anderson apparently saved his money really, really well and is very rich. That's why he never does signings or anything. I don't think Ole would have been salty with me, to be honest with you. St. Valentine's Day Massacre is your all-time favorite mob movie. I've never seen that one. I love the Godfather series. They're great. I've met some real mafia people during bouncing and stuff. And my God, you don't want stuff to go down in a club. When you see like real mafia people in there, you really, really don't. And they're talking about Bianca Belair, or however you say her last name. The roster is so huge these days. It's hard to keep track of everybody. I do like women wrestling, but I have zero interest in watching this match for whatever reason. Neither of these two wrestlers interest me for some reason. I'd rather see Stacy Keibler wrestle, who I did meet once, and she was nice and just as hot in person. I think I already brought that up. Watching this is already making me feel like I've been smoking weed. Oh yes, Kevin Hart. There we go. I was talking about the interview earlier. Bianca Belair and Kevin Hart. She's the one that does the interview with him, and Logan Paul also. See, they got an Irish guy doing commentary now too for some reason, which is weird. I hate this guy, but then I have zero interest in paying attention to you or watching you with. He's just being shoved down our throats so much. I don't like it when they. I mean, they can shove people down our throats until they get over. It does work, but this Austin Theory guy is so fucking boring. Vince Russo calls him a wannabe wrestler. John Cena against Logan Paul would have been the money match, and so this is not a WrestleMania main event. It's sad. This is not a WrestleMania main event. I'm sorry. Sonya Deville. Oh, this is the women's tag team match. Wade Barrett is British. I do like Wade Barrett on commentary, though. I like Wade Barrett. This other guy I don't like. And it's not his accent. I don't like him. Wade Barrett is cooler. Wade Barrett would be better. Yes, Bischoff, Russo, and Cornette all have their perspective. Russo and Bischoff were much more successful as promoters and bookers than Cornette, but Cornette is the most successful podcaster of the three. Cornette is a good carny. He's good at convincing people he did more than he did. He's a good worker. But the bottom line is his company was funded by a music promoter, and he lost the guy's money in his company. Smoky Mountain Wrestling went out of business very quickly. He was using somebody else's money, and the company failed. So if you think that's a great booker, I mean, if you tell someone you are enough times, people will just start to believe it. And obviously that's what happened with him. Rick Brooks was raised in a mob town, Newport, Kentucky. Cool. Why don't people get along with Cornette? Because he thinks his opinion is the right opinion, and he doesn't want to hear other people's opinion. He's not open to hearing it. He has anger issues. As I said, it's not like all of his ideas are bad, but he's not willing to listen to others. To me, his greatest success is as a manager and a podcaster, but it wasn't a booker. I mean, if anyone thinks that the new Midnight Express was a great idea, and the Goon and Alex the Pug Porto and Who and all that crap was good for you, but that was some of the worst booking ever in pro wrestling. Ivan Santos, Rick Rude's widow shoot interview would be interesting. I don't think she would do one, considering the way that he died. I mean, that's just going to bring up horrible memories. When is Billy Jack Haynes coming back? Honestly, he called me, I think, a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, and he literally kept me on the phone. I'm not complaining, but he kept me on the phone 2.5 hours, to the point where I was literally in bed, and I told him, like, Billy, I get up early these days, and you're 3 hours ahead of me. I'm falling asleep here. and we finally ended it. He enjoys the Olive Garden. Some of it, he does know a lot of information, Billy Jack Haynes, and like when he calls me, he talks to me about stuff that he's been involved with, has me look stuff up about stuff that he knows about. So there's more to his tales than it's not just all a figment of his imagination. Some of it is definitely CTE, but he definitely knows a lot about various stuff. But I appreciate his friendship. But yeah, when is he coming back? I don't know. I'm really busy these days, and I don't know if I want to. You see, because he won't just do an interview with me. He always wants to talk for like 2, 3, or 4 hours before doing one. So I don't know if I have time to sit through one of those talks before the next Great North Wrestling event because there's so much preparation. Yes, Billy Jack and Billy Graham. They did arm wrestle. Billy Jack really likes Billy Graham too. And I'm glad that I got to be close with Billy Graham over the years. I'm the one that started Billy's Facebook page for him. Eventually, I became too busy, and another guy, Mike, took it over. Like I helped between my shoot interviews and his Facebook page. I'm the one that gave Billy Graham a voice since 2011, which has helped. It has helped. He's been able to survive through GoFundmes, but he has helped me too. He's the one that got me on the hepatitis C treatment through his doctor that got me cured. When the doctors in Canada, which our medical system is crap overall, it's free, but it's slow, and the care is fucking horrible. So yeah, he got me fast tracked to getting cured, even though I had to pay for my treatment. This is my first time seeing Sonya Deville wrestle. Why doesn't Liz Morgan get a bigger push? I don't know. Chelsea Green, I was pissed at because we booked her for Great North Wrestling, and we had booked her first. Then she got booked in Chicago, so her flight got changed. Like she got booked the night before in Chicago, so her flight got changed to a flight where she missed her connection to our show. So I was pissed because like we had her booked first, and because she took another booking, I ended up losing her deposit and flight. She wouldn't return the deposit either. She's a real bitch in my dealings with her. I haven't felt bad for her for any of her injuries. She's very injury prone. I think she's had 3 or 4 injuries every time they've tried to bring her. This is actually the longest she's been in WWE. It's been about a month or so without getting injured. I heard that they brought her back because of some couples wrestlers show that they're doing, and that they were also going to bring Ryder back for the basic reason because they needed another wrestler couple for this TV show. So we'll see if that actually happens or not. We haven't heard much from Ryder on the Indies lately, so it's very possible. Ryder's one of the most overrated. There you go. The point that she's winning probably gives some credence that that show might happen. Because if she's going to be on the show, they'll give her a push. But I think her and Sonia are better known than those other two. I think Chelsea's from British Columbia too. She's one of the her and Natalia and Santino's daughter are some of the Canadian women. WWE. Well, Piper's enjoying this because I've been petting her the whole show. Usually I'm editing, my hands aren't free. Boulder says Chelsea's timing's always off. I haven't seen much of her. State Athletic Commission. I don't know what you mean by that, but for state athletic commissions, there's only a few states that still have athletic commissions. 4 or 5. This is my first time seeing Damian Priest. I've heard the name before. Is Chelsea's timing off her gimmick? I don't know. Oh, from Victoria, British Columbia, Rick Brooks says Thunderbolt Patterson was using lines. Well, I doubt Billy Graham ever saw Thunderbolt Patterson in Detroit before he started using those lines because I can't even remember Billy ever wrestling in Detroit other than in WWE. He very well could have. But if he did, he hasn't talked to me much about it. He was mostly on the West Coast in the New York territory and Florida and the Carolinas. Those I remember. I guess this is another one of the WWE Hollywood spoofs. I don't recognize these performers. You know what? It's funny. They're actually having them act Hollywood scenes now, but they're not in the actors union. This is even more proof that they'll never do. Oh no, this is a Dungeons and Dragons thing. Okay. But having them act Hollywood stuff, that is even more proof they should be in the actors union. I guess that was a Dungeons and Dragons thing. Maybe I actually want to see Dungeons and Dragons, but that seems like a better movie to have after consuming some cannabis as well. Better find someone to drive me. Damian Priest is Puerto Rican. Did he start in Puerto Rico? Or he's just Puerto Rican descent? Yes, it's an advertisement now. Sorry, I'm being distracted. I think we're all getting tired. Lashley still hasn't appeared, has he? I think I'm going to take a bathroom break while it's an ad. I'll be back. All right. Hopefully, I didn't miss too much. Here's Paul Heyman. I guess. Sorry, I had to eat something. And now Piper wants out. Let's watch this promo. Now that Paul Heyman makes so much, imagine if he would pay back everyone he owed money to in ECW. Does anyone think Solo's going to win? Imagine if WWE had betting. It would make it more interesting because maybe if they had betting, it wouldn't be as predictable. Maybe they'd want to mix it up a bit. Ivan said Damian Priest grew up a wrestling fan in Puerto Rico. Cool. Piper's disappeared on me. That usually means she's up to no good. Piper. I don't trust her. Piper. I don't like her out of my sight. All right. Okay. So I didn't miss the match. Good. I do like Rey Mysterio Jr.'s son's mullet. I do have to admit that. Keeping the tradition alive of the mullets on Latino wrestlers. They do have the best mullets. So Vicky Guerrero was in the news saying she wishes she was part of this angle. Interesting. Oh, here comes Rey Mysterio punching his kid. Oh, that was the previous week on SmackDown. Oh, this guy has a tear under his eye. Isn't that supposed to mean you killed somebody? Somehow I don't think this kid would last in jail as the son of a famous wrestler. I saw actually, let me look this up. I saw Rey Mysterio's house. Let me look this up. It's massive. Put it up for you guys. Yeah, I'll put it up. Very, very nice house. He's done well for himself. This kid, good for you getting your kid a job, though. I appreciate it, but yeah, nice house. Looks like it may. Are those solar? That's solar paneling on the roof too. Oh, there's a top view as well. That's the bad part about being a celebrity now. It's really easy for people to find out information on you. Here's the backyard of his house. Looks like he's got a really nice. His pool is fucking awesome. Anyways, Rey Mysterio has made good money over the years. Did Damian Priest wrestle, by the way, guys, or did I just miss that when I was taking my little food break? Is there any match that anyone's excited to see other than the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Because it seems like the undercard is very underwhelming this year. Advertisements 10:12. 10:12. Oh my god. We're almost at the 45 minutes left mark. This is exciting. Hopefully they end this show with some good stuff. I'm looking forward to it being over. I think Piper is too. Pubert is on the Great North Wrestling Twitch channel, Pubert Bartholomew. I started streaming on Twitch again, as well as our Twitter at the Hannibal TV, where you can't stream on Instagram yet, but we are on the Hannibal TV at Instagram. Pubert's glad we're back on Twitch. You have the best name ever, Pubert. They should have a wrestler by your name. I gave up on it for a while, but then I figured I was actually advised that we should stream on all platforms. Tiffany Stratton. Oh, they're doing an ad for NXT. The Rock's daughter is debuting on that show. daughter's gonna debut on this NXT Stand and Deliver. I don't know if I can take I really wanna see her debut, but I don't know if I can I really don't know if I could sit through this much wrestling. Okay, so it's Rey Mysterio against Damian Priest. I was at the Bakersfield SmackDown where Rey Mysterio retired Bradshaw, I think. Believe that was his retirement match. I wish I could live in Rey Mysterio's house after seeing it. Dominic apparently has had a long-time girlfriend, by the way. Imagine how easy it would be to get girls if you're Rey Mysterio's son, the son of a famous person, and you live in a house like that, and he's blessed. I liked Rey Mysterio best in WCW. I'm going to search up some info on this Damian Priest. Oh, he's 40. Interesting. From Dorado, Puerto Rico, same as Selena De La Renta, former manager of the Blood Hunter. But he didn't train in Puerto Rico. He trained at the Monster Factory. Oh, he attended a Ring of Honor training camp in 2014. I was at the exact same training camp. So I probably met him that day. And he was signed by WWE in 2018. He's in NXT 2020-21. Debut 2021. There we go. Now we know about Damian Priest. Oh, Dominic. Dominic has missed some leg days. Look how thin his legs are. He's getting good heat, though. I have to admit, he's better as a heel. But yeah, he's got chicken legs. Here comes. Well, I have nothing bad to say about this segment. It was good. It was one of the better segments. Victor switched to the ground turkey, and it tastes great. I'm drinking a lot of egg whites. I decided to stop taking all supplements pretty much, other than vitamins. I even stopped taking protein powder. I just drink egg whites. Oh, am I behind? Let me reset it. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. Thank you. Thank you for fixing this. I think I may have accidentally paused it when I got my food. Sorry. Here's Luke Gallows, who I've wrestled before when he was freaking Deacon in Deep South Wrestling. And this guy that looks clearly on something. I'm sorry, but their WWE has to be doing different drug testing these days. I'm sorry. Where they're allowing TRT, and I don't know how it's going, but I know bodybuilding and stuff, and these two do not look natural. This Bronson Reed guy isn't bad, by the way. He's one of the better guys they have. Here's Lashley. I heard that, and I don't know if it's true, that the reason Lashley never fought in UFC is because he fought in a lot of places where the drug testing policies weren't necessarily as strict as USADA's. Here's Walter Gunther. And this guy's good from what I've seen of him. But yeah, thanks to the guy that told me that I was behind. Appreciate it. I'll be honest, Roman doesn't look natural either. I'm sorry. I know what people look like natural and unnatural. But again, TRT, I mean, is something that people are allowed to use now, which is basically prescribed steroids. But yeah, it seems like the testing may not be as strict as it used to be. Just after the Chris Benoit thing, judging by some of the physiques. The Bachelor in Paradise Canada. Why the fuck didn't I apply for this? It looks so much fun. You guys, I'm sure, are getting different advertisements than the Canadian ones, but yeah. Is there even, I guess, an ad on the WWE network in the US? I guess it just shows WWE ads because we're getting like the Canadian advertisements. Pubert rewatches the Al Perez interview I did. Any chance with a part two? Yes. By the way, Al Perez was one of the nicest people I've ever interviewed. He's the only person I ever interviewed that actually helped me clean up my camera equipment after. Hillbilly Jim is the only one that ever bought me dinner after a shoot interview. So he was up there as one of the nice. Hillbilly Jim is one of the nicest guys ever. I truly love that guy. And he's huge. He's massive. But Al Perez would be up there. No, I am not watching Raw Talk. There's 35 minutes left, and I'm watching a lot of wrestling on the weekend. As I said, I'm going to watch SmackDown, the Hall of Fame, the 2 nights of WrestleMania and the Raw after WrestleMania, which is usually the best Raw of the year. So hopefully it will be. One Man Gang was very nice. One Man Gang, I would say he's extremely nice too. But I never met him in person. You see, now everybody does shoot interviews, but when I started, I was the very first one to not put pirated shoot interviews online, to like put my own video shoot interviews online, and everyone was saying, "Oh, he's a mark," blah 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 blah. Now everybody does it, but the problem is now that there's you can do internet interviews. Everybody does it. So it's watered down. Yes, Tom, One Man Gang did speak for 3 hours. I highly suggest people watch that one. The funny thing is, I was trying to get his contact information for years, and it turned out he actually watched my channel and knew who I was when I finally was able to contact him. Was the goon trying to work a heel angle? No. I actually asked, I wanted to wrestle him after that. I was so mad. I wanted to beat the shit out of him. He has no idea. I don't let people talk to me like that. All these fucking nerds and dorks that fucking talk shit about me. I don't let people talk shit like that to me in person. And if I see them, they may have to see me again one of these days. That's when it's going to be funny. Was Dark Journey high? It appeared that there was a white substance on the table in front of her when she knocked her phone over at the end of the interview. And one watching it that was a former police officer said it looked like either cocaine or crushed up pills. And she kept sticking her finger up her nose during the interview. So I would say she was on something more than alcohol, but also alcohol. This match, I really don't care for at all. Usos have been pushed down people's throats. Yes, they're talented, but they've been pushed to death down people's throats. And these other two, great politicians, great politicians. Sami Zayn is more legitimate kind though. Kevin Owens is definitely a snake and definitely a backstabber and a coward. No comment, Tom. All I can say is before Lacey's husband started to have a problem with us, she was fun to hang out with. Hubert. I've had other. If you look at the YouTube channel, I've had quite a few UFO people, but the problem is with the paranormal interviews, the credible ones are hard to get. The credible people are really hard to get, and I'm constantly trying because I'm truly very interested in paranormal stuff. I research it all the time. But there's so many people that are just out there, and I've had a few interviews which some of you may have seen, but these people were so far out there that I just gave up for a while because I don't want to interview people that are just so unbelievable. I would not want to team with those two, honestly. Someone at one point someone who had an MLW contacts offered to push me, Ted, Harry, and I forget who the other person was, as like a four-man Canadian group in MLW. And I'm like, I don't want any part of this. I don't want to be any part of any Team Canada lame ass gimmick. All right, so who's gone through wrestling? Oh man, the highest paid jobber, Dolph Ziggler, 1.5 million though. Honestly, I would take 1.5 million. It's funny. People always act like I care if I job or not. The only issues I ever have jobbing is if someone wants to pay me shit and wants me to job. I'm not going to do that. I never had a problem. I always had a good push in Puerto Rico, but I never complained once when I had to job. My issue is if people don't want to pay me shit or have me do a lot of work for a company, then lose to someone, then I got issues. Or try to fucking screw me on pay. Gunther does need to do some squats, though. I have to admit, he's got thin legs, chicken legs. I would like to see Gunther against the Blood Hunter. I think the Blood Hunter would destroy him. He's too thin. Good heel though, good facial expressions, but too thin. The funny thing is, in a shoot, Dolph would kill that guy too. I always heard that Ivan Koloff was really nice too. Rick Luthez, I've heard, was high strung. I heard. Yeah, I liked Gunther better when he was heavier. He looks like anorexic small now. I'm really good at double legs. I would double leg him. That's how I would beat. Pretty much every street fight I've ever had has been double leg ground and pound. Because most people don't even know how to defend a simple double leg. Honky Tonk Man is still under a Legends deal with WWE, Blake. Last time I talked to him, I was in Phoenix, where Raw is tonight, coincidentally. I know he's doing stuff in wrestling this year for the first time since he was inducted. But, oh my God. I'm falling asleep here. We got 26 more minutes left, though. Hopefully it'll end strong. Honky Tonk Man's a fun guy to hang around with. We've had some adventures over the years. This Chad Wicks dork is messaging me now. Oh my God. He's sending me something, why I hate religion but love Jesus. This guy no-showed on me 3 or 4 times doing interviews. He just seems like a total flake. I have nothing against religions. I've almost died so many times, and I'm not even kidding, guys. Somebody told me last year that I used up my 9 lives, and then there's been a few things that have happened since. So I can only say that my purpose on this earth has not been fulfilled yet. So I would never. When I was in my younger days, I used to scoff at religion. I always wanted to, when I was a kid, be religious because I've always been interested in religion with my parents. Even though my dad has been as a hobby has been a caretaker of a cemetery for years. And I've actually shot some promos at that cemetery over the years. Like he's not that religious and never really took us to church. But anyways, I went through a phase where I didn't believe and I thought it was all bullshit. But then the more research I did, the more I realized about the spirit. And I don't know why I'm talking about this, but the bottom line is, oh yeah, because Chad Wicks messaged me that crap from the this guy was from the Dicks. I did interview his partner from the Dicks in WWE, Tank Toland, who was very reliable, and I'm so sorry for his experience where Chad basically fucked over their WWE team. But my whole point is, this guy's a flake. You know, showing me 3 or 4 times, waste my time, and you send me crap about religion. Is my dad a wrestler? No, he was in the military for 30 years, and he's a police. He still works. He doesn't want to stop working. He's 75. Very hard worker. Not only does he work, but he still takes care of that cemetery that I was telling you about. He's a very busy life. Dolph Ziggler, 1.5 million a year. You know what? You see, Dolph would be a tough one. He's one of the best jobbers they have. If his contract ends in AEW, he might get a chance to get over, but he might not be offered the same pay. And they're paying him so well because he's great at putting people over. Which, by the way, I'm also great at making people look good. A lot of people don't know that about me, but I know how to make people look really good. Gunther looks way too small, though, guys. I gotta say, some of those juiced up looking guys are too juiced up looking, but Gunther needs to find a happy medium here. His legs are like nothing, and his ass is flat, and like he's got no shoulder. The other guys look juiced in the shoulders, though, and the traps. I'm gonna tell you, Gunther looks natural, but he's really lean. But he's a good wrestler. Nothing wrong with that match. His ears are disproportionately big for his head. But yeah, no, Tom, no, to answer your question, sorry, no, my dad was not a wrestler. My parents weren't really wrestling fans. They were actually really disappointed when I turned down scholarships to go straight into pros. Yeah, Victor, I don't blame, like 1.5 million a year to fucking get beat. Work 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes once a week. It's a fucking good job, man. It's a great job. I'm sorry, but the Rhea Ripleys of the world bitching and complaining because they got to sign a few autographs at the airport, making in the hundreds of thousands a year. Try working a real job. I've worked at sawmills. I've been a bouncer. I've I still work a normal job too, guys. But I love both my normal job, and overall, I like this job as well. But I've had some bad jobs and some good jobs. And I can tell you, wrestling is a fucking easy job. Right now, Tom, after my fast, I'm sticking at 265. And I'm a little bit over 263. I'm closer to 64. Sorry, 269. It was 276 last week. I was 280 to 300 when I was taking supplements. Undertaker is doing a lot of podcasts now, but He's only doing WWE approved podcasts, Pubert. They don't approve me anybody. Oh, here comes Cody Rhodes. Taking bumps take a toll on your body, but it's better than a real job. It's fun. So does doing MMA classes and judo classes and karate classes. They don't work a hard schedule anymore. It's not the 80s where you're wrestling 7 days a week and only had 3 days off a month. They wrestle 1 to 3 times a week now. And it's rare that it's 3 times a week. We're paid guaranteed money. Trust me, Tom, I know about wrestling injuries. I've been in the wrestling business since 2001. And I can tell you it's fun to be a wrestler. You get a great high from the crowd. You get to be recognized. The pay when you're a regular wrestler is decent. It's easier to get girls. There's so many ups to it. And most people in the wrestling business, at least up until recently, now they sign a lot of people that don't even that would never even be a wrestler if they didn't get paid to train. But most people in the wrestling business have wanted to be wrestlers all their lives. So the feeling you get when you wrestle, when that's your dream, is like your dream is coming true to wrestle. It's not a job. It's living a dream. Blake, I've not drank Screech. The only person that gives me Screech was the Honky Tonk Man, and that he told that one story on here, which we'll say for this sake is for entertainment purposes. I never wanted to do it again because for anyone that doesn't know what this Screech Newfoundland style liquor is that Honky Tonk Man loves, it can mess you up in ways. It's like tequila. Tequila can mess you up worse than regular alcohol. Screech is like that, but it hits you it can make you just go out of your mind where you have no idea what you're doing. And we were very lucky that night. Victor, I don't even know what it is because I never really even looked at the bottle. I just trusted Honky Tonk Man pouring it in my beer. And then I remember we drank the whole bottle. He had 2 bottles. And people can look up the Honky Tonk Man Screech story, but he had 2 bottles. We did it a couple of times, but the one night was by far the worst. There was 2 bottles of the Screech. He had one back at his hotel. And I won't get into the details. He can tell you the details of how we got from the one arena, which was like an hour away from where he was staying, to his hotel. And then at the hotel, by the time we got to the hotel, we had drank the entire bottle of Screech between us. And then he made the mistake. I mean, and this is not being a good friend, but mind you, he was probably out of it by then too. He made the mistake of opening up the other bottle, which was just, I mean, insane. And since I don't really remember anything past that, I'll leave it at that. Ivan Solasikoa is another fortunate son. Yeah, all the bloodline are lucky, but the bloodline are talented. Nothing bad to say about them. Honky Tonk drink. Last I saw Honky Tonk Man, he was just sticking to beer. But you know what? It's funny that it is funny because Lanny Poffo was always so condescending of Honky Tonk Man and all this. And Lanny died before Honky Tonk Man. And Honky Tonk Man has I don't know what he's been like now, but up until 2012, 2013-ish, he was quite a drinker, but it was part of the business. It's not anymore. but Honky Tonk Man. So let's look up how old Honky Tonk Man is. I think he was older than Lanny. Honky Tonk Man is 70 years old, and he was partying most of his career. He's a great guy though. He's a great guy. So yeah, he's 70 years old. Let's look up how old Lanny was. I think he was 68 when he died. By the way, Honky saved his money really well and is really well off. Let's see how old Lanny was. He died at 68. So Lanny rarely drank and lived a very clean lifestyle. Saved his money very well to only die at 68. So he was cheap all of his life. I mean, there's no way of predicting this, but he was cheap all of his life. I mean, most of the time I saw him wearing shirts that were given to him free. Yes, his daughter is going to be well taken care of with her inheritance because I think Lanny had mentioned I think he got Randy's inheritance, was getting Randy's royalties too. I think so he was very well off, but I don't know how many years of that he got to enjoy. Is Lawler inducting Andy Kaufman in the Hall of Fame? I think they want him to, but it's not known if he's healthy enough yet. It'll probably be Jimmy Hart if not. Yes. It's no surprise that Macho Man died because he was living a hard life as far as lots of stuff, not just bodybuilding related stuff, but partying. But Lanny didn't, so you never know when you could go. Angelo was pretty old when he died. I think he was in his 80s. And the mother was in the 90s. So there's something wrong with. It's weird that Lanny died so young. Yeah, Angelo died at 84. Well, who knows what Lanny was doing behind closed doors? All I can say is Lanny was a funny guy, but a strange guy. Yeah, heart. Well, I don't for heart disease with the pothos. I mean, people have said it, and if you look at Macho Man's behavior, he did behave as far as the paranoia like someone who was on drugs. And if you look at his body over the years, particularly in the later WCW years in the Spider-Man movie, he was definitely on steroids, 100%. Lanny even admitted it. So that stuff is all really bad for your heart. Angelo lived to be 84, so who knows? It wasn't really revealed how Lanny died. I don't even know how we're talking about this because it's supposed to be a review. I guess it's just we're all bored by this point of the matches. Why do they always pretend that stupid plastic thing on the table would hurt? It clearly wouldn't hurt, particularly when your hands are hitting it first. That was a weird dive. It was like the dive. He caught the dive, but he didn't bump. But he didn't like catch him strongly. It was weird. I don't know if that was an effective spot. This table does not want to break. 10 minutes to go, guys. It's weird. Once we got over the halfway point and I took my little bathroom food break, the rest is going by fast. Yeah, Macho Man is one of the all-time greats. Yes, he did have a coronary. Was drinking energy drinks. According to Gorgeous George, one of his later girlfriends, he was taking ecstasy. Rip Rogers has told me that when they lived together, he was a cocaine user. He would drink. Lanny Poffo has said that Macho Man drank. I believe a day or two before he died, he asked Lanny to buy him beer. So, like, all these things will contribute to a heart attack. And I love Macho Man. I'm not hating on him or anything. I'm just saying that you can say the 84-year-old that passed away is hereditary all you want, but he wasn't living his life in a way that's going to help prevent that. Lanny, I don't know what the. All I know is when I was hanging around with Lanny, uh, I never saw him drink. He told me he would drink here and there, but I never actually saw him drink. And his main vices is he would hit on every woman. I never saw him hit on underages, but 18 to 70, he would hit on. He liked the ladies. So, comical guy. We're on an advertisement now. Hey, I never looked up what AEW Rampage got as a rating. Let's take a look here. The news is out. John Moxley is going to address the post made by CM Punk this week. According to Meltzer, there was 11,400 tickets sold for this event legitimately, but who knows? Alexa Bliss will be at WrestleMania in some form. Rubbing tape against the floor. That's gotta hurt, right? He has good punches, though. Better punches than Seth Rollins. I would expect to see Roman Reigns interfere in this at some point to help build towards WrestleMania. Good power slam. Will Lex Luger get into Hall of Fame one day? I don't know if you can tell if thinning hair indicates heart disease. I think I might be in trouble if that's the case. I'm fucking thinning. I don't think so. There's a lot of bald people out there that live long lives. That's a silly finishing move. Just look. That's just a weird looking finishing move. Doesn't look painful at all. What I think when I watch this is Jacob Fatu is actually better than this guy, but he's stuck in MLW. Jacob Fatu, more intimidating look. He's a better actual wrestler than this guy. That Cody Rhodes is wrestling. But it's not always fair who gets the opportunities and who doesn't. It's funny all the years that Heyman bashed WWE only to be the ultimate WWE guy in the end. A true huckster. His whole gimmick when he was running ECW was how much he hated WWE. And for like over 20 years now, he's been like the ultimate WWE guy. Surprised they're letting him do the Cody Cutters since the here's what I don't like. How can if someone's interfering in a match, the music plays? This I don't get. This I don't like. Like, if you're interfering in a match, why would the company allow your music to play if a fucking important match is going on? This takes me right out of it. Like, imagine UFC, a match is going on and someone else's music cuts. Like, imagine. Like, it's just would never happen again. Music's playing during a fucking ongoing match. Like, it just makes the match seem so unimportant. It's clearly the company is putting this together if the music's playing. Like, how could I don't understand how you can have match interference with music. I just don't get it. But you're not supposed to think about realism. You're supposed to think about great storytelling. I guess we will not see Roman tonight. Someone predicted the Usos were going to come out. Yes, someone had predicted the Usos were going to come out. It's a good prediction, whoever that was. No, no, I'm not going to watch NXT tomorrow. No, I got too much other stuff to do. And I can't. As I said, I might watch Stand and Deliver, but I will do this again for SmackDown. And I will do a review of this like in 5 minutes. Piper is loving this though, because I've literally been petting her for 3 hours. She's just been having her. They're definitely giving Cody as big of a push as possible, as I'm gonna tap out here, but I'll come back and do a review of the full thing for the people that didn't want to sit through this. So there you go. This was way better than the Ottawa Raw. But you know what? I'll be kind. I gave the Dynamite from Winnipeg like an 8.5 out of 10. This was not as good as the Dynamite from Winnipeg. I'll give this Raw 6.5 out of 10. You guys can put your ratings in the comments, but I'll give this Raw 6.5 out of 10. Too much talking for me.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest